Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting week of football. This week, some major drama happened, and I'm not just talking about Taylor Swift getting Mahomes sick. But before we can dive in, go ahead and turn notifications on and subscribe because, hello, it's free and it helps with the algorithm. You already know. Okay, jumping right in, we have the Tennessee Titans versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are favored by 2.5 points against the Titans. The Titans' money line is plus 120 and the Steelers are minus 145. The game's over-under is set at 36.5 points. Rookie quarterback Will Levis threw 4 touchdowns in his debut for a surprising upset over the Falcons. The Steelers quarterback Kenny Pickett suffered a ribs injury in a loss to the Jaguars, and now he's questionable to play on Thursday. Mitch Trubisky will start off if Pickett can't play. Will Levis may be starting quarterback going forward if he performs well. My pick, I'm not touching this, but the Titans are 0-3 on the road this season, and they may be rebuilding. I'm just saying. Miami Dolphins against Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team. The Chiefs are favored by 2.5 points at home against the Dolphins. The Dolphins' money line is plus 115 while the Chiefs' money line is minus 140. The game's over-under is set at 50.5 points. You know Taylor Swift likes her London boys. This game is set in London. The tale of two elite offenses. The Dolphins have the #1 offense in the league, ranking first in total yards per game, passing yards per game, and rushing yards per game. Dolphins' defense got stronger with the return of cornerback Jalen Ramsey. They're going to need him to slow down the Chiefs' offense that's third in total yards per game and passing yards per game. Dolphins really need a convincing win against a top team. My pick, the Chiefs' defense is still pretty good even though Taylor Swift got Mahomes sick. Minnesota Vikings at the Atlanta Falcons. The Vikings are getting 4 points against the Falcons. The Vikings' money line is plus 155 while the Falcons is minus 190. The game's over is set at 37.5 points. Kirk Cousins is done for the rest of the season with a torn Achilles, but it's not like the Vikings were going anywhere anyways this season. Taylor Heineke replaced turnover-prone Desmond Ridder in second half of loss to Titans and was more effective with the ball. Ridder may be benched this week. Heineke isn't exciting, but he's proven to be able to win games. So I trust the Falcons more over the Vikings. Seattle Seahawks versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are favored by 5.5 points against the Seahawks. The Seahawks are plus 185 and the Ravens are minus 225 on the money line. The game's total is 43.5 points. The Ravens are riding off a 3-game win streak, while the Seahawks are riding off a 2-game win streak. The Seahawks came off a close game last week, and things are not going to get easier this week. This game should be a defensive battle. I'd give the edge here to Baltimore and Lamar, who's playing lights out this year. Arizona Cardinals versus the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are favored by 7 points at home against the Cardinals. The Cardinals' money line is plus 240, and the Browns are minus 300. The game's over-under is 40. The Cardinals are in line for a top pick currently, so Kyler Murray won't be starting until later, if at all. They just traded Dobbs to Minnesota, so the white flag is out for Arizona. PJ Walker is doing just enough to get the job done, despite coming up short last week, so the Browns can rest Watson for another week. I'd look for the Browns defense to handle Arizona here. Los Angeles Rams versus the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are favored by 2.5 points against the Rams. The Rams' money line is plus 120, while the Packers' money line is minus 145. The game's over-under is set at 41 points. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur may be in the hot seat after a brutal loss against the Vikings. After a hot start, Jordan Love has come crashing down as the Packers' offense continue to struggle. The Rams are still struggling to show any form of team identity after being dismantled by the Cowboys' defense. My pick, I'd play the Rams' money line here, but I don't feel great about it. Buccaneers versus the Texans. The Texans are favored by 2.5 points at home against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers' money line is plus 110 and the Texans are minus 135. The game's total is 38.5 points. The Texans fell back to earth against the Panthers, but this looks like a nice spot for them at home. Houston has covered in 4 out of the last 5 games. Tampa has struggled to run the ball, and they have the 5th worst red zone percentage in the league. My pick, I'd play the under here. Tampa might struggle to score. The Commanders versus the Patriots. The Patriots are favored by 2.5 points against the Commanders. The Commanders' money line is plus 115, while the Patriots is minus 140. The game's over-under is set at 40.5 points. The Commanders and Ron Rivera seemingly are going to go their own separate ways. They just traded away Chase Young, so it's safe to say Washington is done. The Pats aren't playing well either. They have only covered the spread twice this season. Bills' defense is showing sparks, so they do have something going for them. My pick, I take the Pats at home against a Washington team that has clearly given up. Chicago Bears versus the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are favored by 6.5 points against the Bears. The Bears' money line is plus 220, while the Saints is minus 275. The game's over-under is set at 41 points. With Fields still hurt, the Bears will start a rookie quarterback against the Saints. In 2 starts, he's had mixed results, so it's anybody's guess on how he'll do against the Saints. Carr and the Saints offense showed signs of life last week. My pick, I'm staying away. But if I had to play, I'd take the points with Chicago here. The Colts versus the Panthers. The Colts are favored by 2.5 points against the Panthers. The Panthers' money line is plus 120, while the Colts is minus 145. The game's over-under is set at 45.5 points. The Panthers recently changed play calling duties after their bye week, and they pulled off a win against the Texans. The Colts defense gave up a ton of points to the Saints offense last week. They've given up 77 points over the last 2 games. That's not good. My pick, I might take Carolina to win here at plus 120. The Giants versus the Raiders. The Raiders are favored by 3 points against the Giants. The Giants' money line is plus 145 and the Raiders are minus 175. The game's total is 38.5 points. Devontae Adams is not happy and it's time to leverage his value for more picks, but the Raiders are dumb. The Raiders aren't in contention, so they need to trade their players that have value now. Jimmy G isn't the guy and they should trade him too. The Giants are suffering from their own problems. Tyrod Taylor is out and Daniel Jones might be in. The Giants' defense is improving, and that should be enough to handle this Raiders team. Take the 3 points and play the Giants. Cowboys versus the Eagles. All right, so this is the biggest game this week. The Eagles are favored by 3 points against the Cowboys. The Cowboys' money line is plus 140 and the Eagles is minus 165. The game's over-under is set at 46.5 points. This game features 2 NFC East powerhouses. Prescott has usually performed strong against the Eagles, with the Cowboys scoring 13 points in 3 games. The Eagles are rolling through with A.J. Brown torching secondaries. Expect a high-scoring game here, so the over and Dallas's money line might be live. Bills versus Bengals. The Bengals are favored by 1.5 points against the Bills. The Bills' money line is plus 110 and the Bengals' money line is minus 130. The game's over-under is set at 48 points. The Bengals just came off a convincing win against a strong 49ers team. Burrow looks sharp and healthy, which is great news for them moving forward. The Bills have lost a lot of key defensive players, but have a 10-day window to get ready, along with some motivation from last season's playoff defeat. This should be a high-scoring matchup. I'd hammer the over here. Chargers versus the Jets. The Chargers are favored by 1.5 points against the Jets. The Jets' money line is plus 105 and the Chargers are minus 125. The game's total is 42 points. The Jets got a win despite a poor passing performance last week, but they face a quality quarterback in Herbert who beat Chicago on Sunday Night Football. The Jets look pretty strong defensively, but the Chargers bring more to the table in this matchup. My pick, the Chargers should be the play here. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my picks for the week. Go ahead and comment below what your picks are, and don't forget to like and subscribe.